Israeli strike hits municipal building in South Lebanon. Mayor and 5 others killed. An Israeli airstrike on Wednesday on the municipal building in Nabatieh, a major town in southern Lebanon, which serves as a provincial capital, killed the mayor Ahmed Kahil and at least 5 others, 2 security sources said. The strike came despite U.S. concerns about rising death tolls and fears of all-out war in the region as Israel battles Iran-backed Hezbollah in South Lebanon and in the capital Beirut and the Palestinian militants Hamas in Gaza. The Israeli military said it struck dozens of Hezbollah targets in the Nabatieh area and dismantled underground infrastructure. Israeli Navy forces, meanwhile, have struck dozens of Hezbollah targets in southern Lebanon, in cooperation with troops on the ground, Israel's military said on Wednesday. Hours earlier, at least one Israeli strike hit Beirut's southern suburbs, Reuters witnesses said, after the U.S. said it opposed the scope of Israeli attacks in Lebanon's capital. Reuters witnesses heard 2 blasts and saw plumes of smoke emerging from 2 separate neighborhoods. It came after Israel issued an evacuation order early on Wednesday, which mentioned only 1 building. The Israeli military has in recent weeks carried out strikes on Beirut's southern suburbs, the stronghold of Hezbollah, without advance warnings, or with a warning for one area while striking more broadly. The Israeli military said it conducted a strike on an underground Hezbollah weapon stockpile in the southern Beirut suburb of Dahia. Prior to the strike, numerous steps were taken to mitigate the risk of harming civilians, including advancing warnings to the population in the area, the Israeli military said. A quarter of Lebanon under evacuation orders. Israeli military evacuation orders now affect more than a quarter of Lebanon, according to the UN Refugee Agency, 2 weeks after Israel began incursions into the south of the country that it says are aimed at driving back Hezbollah. Some Western countries have been pushing for a ceasefire between the 2 neighbors, as well as in Gaza, though the United States says it continues to support Israel and was sending an anti-missile system and troops. On Tuesday, State Department spokesperson Matthew Miller said the U.S. had expressed its concerns to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's administration on the recent strikes. When it comes to the scope and nature of the bombing campaign that we saw in Beirut over the past few weeks, it's something that we made clear to the government of Israel we had concerns with and we were opposed to, he told reporters, adopting a harsher tone than Washington has taken so far. Israel has also come under scrutiny because of its dealings with the UN peacekeeping force UNIFIL in South Lebanon, since an Israeli ground operation against Hezbollah militants began on October 1st. UNIFIL positions have come under fire, and 2 Israeli tanks burst through the gates of one of its bases. The UN says 5 peacekeepers have been injured. European Union countries that contribute have no intention of pulling back despite Israeli calls to do so. Austrian Foreign Minister Alexander Schallenberg said 16 EU countries, including Austria, contribute to UNIFIL, and the recent incidents have sparked widespread alarm among European governments. On Sunday, Netanyahu called on the UN to withdraw UNIFIL from Hezbollah strongholds and from the combat zones. Israel has not indicated it would rein in its military campaigns in Beirut, South Lebanon, or Gaza. The last time Beirut was hit was on October 10th, when 2 strikes near the city center killed 22 people and brought down entire buildings in a densely populated neighborhood. Leaders and infrastructure targeted. The Middle East, meanwhile, has been on edge since Iran attacked Israel with a barrage of missiles on October 1st after a similar large-scale operation in April. Israel has promised to retaliate. Iranian Foreign Minister Abbas Araqi is visiting Jordan, Egypt, and Turkey as part of Tehran's diplomatic reach-out to countries of the region to end genocide, atrocity, and aggression. The Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesperson said on Wednesday in a post on X, Israel has turned up the heat on Hezbollah since killing Hezbollah leaders and commanders, including its veteran Secretary General Hassan Nasrallah last month in the biggest blow to the group in decades. With diplomatic efforts stalled, the fighting continues. Israeli strikes in Lebanon have killed at least 2.350 people over the last year and left nearly 11,000 wounded, according to the health ministry, and more than 1.2 million people have been displaced. The toll does not distinguish between civilians and combatants, but includes hundreds of women and children. Around 50 Israelis, both soldiers and civilians, have been killed in the same period, according to Israel.